Back to Court TV Live and our continuing coverage of the state of New York versus Harvey Weinstein. The big question this morning is Harvey Weinstein actually winning this case? Joining me now to discuss, criminal defense attorney Rachel Kaufman, and from our New York studio, criminal defense attorney, former prosecutor Venu Varghese. That's the question. Who's winning? Venu, to you first.
The state, look, I'm here to argue for the state of New York here, the people of the state of New York, where I used to be a prosecutor. You know, the state has put forth a ton of evidence about Harvey Weinstein. The charge here is predatory sexual assault. And they have established that with Annabella Sciorra. They have established that with all these multiple women who've come forward to talk about a pattern, right? This is a pattern of behavior that Harvey Weinstein has engaged in, similar pattern, bringing women into his hotel room and then doing things to them, promising them future, well, before doing things to them, promising them a bright future in Hollywood if they do certain things. Like
is that affecting, is that effective enough, Venu, is that effective enough when if the people coming in have continued a relationship with him? What is it about the prosecution's case that is so strong?
Well, their argument is that this is behavior consistent with the concept of rape trauma syndrome, which their doctor testified about, Dr. Ziv testified about at the beginning of this case. She says that often in these cases, women will continue to have relationships with people that they know. And so it doesn't mean that the sexual assault didn't occur. And then when you have all these people coming forward, clearly Harvey Weinstein has a modus operandi.
Right.
He has a way of operating. And that's what he's done here.
Rachel, your thoughts?
So what I think is that the state is diluting whatever evidence that they actually had about these sexual assaults. What they're doing is they're calling experts to say that even if you were assaulted, then you still may be friends with these people. It's like backtracking. And I think what it's doing is kind of clouding the waters. And I think that the defense has done a great job of attacking the credibility of the witnesses and kind of showing that the state is trying to, wrap this all up in a nice bow, but that a lot of what the witnesses had talked to the state about were not things that they had actually said when they had reported it originally.
But isn't Venu right? The strength of this is the repetitive nature of it. Each person is going to react differently to an alleged sexual assault or to a sexual assault. They're hammering away one after another. Today, another one coming into the courtroom. Isn't this jury just going to think, there's too much here?
Well, there's too much here as it relates to the environment of Hollywood, the fact that he might be a little bit creepy, or the fact that he's, I guess, suggesting to these women that they may have a career if they do things with him. But again, when it comes to consensual adult sex, I think that the people exchange things for sex all the time. It's not always about being sexually attracted to someone. These women may have wanted something, and they were going to do what they wanted to get it. Is that right morally? Probably not. But is that a crime? No. And that's what I'm hearing.
Venu, is this a situation where like Harvey says, it was consensual because there was a deal at work here? I mean, obviously they weren't sexually attracted to him, but they were attracted to something that he had, right?
And that happens every day. And I've always said I think it's more like a theft. I think it's more like a theft by deception than it is a sexual assault, because these women were relying to their detriment, I guess, on this deal that could exist. Is it wrong that that's how you get a job in Hollywood? Absolutely. But is it sexual assault if they consented?
I think here,
no.
Right. I think here the state is really pushing this on volume. Right? The more acts, now they have people that have come in to testify as backup for their prior bad act witnesses. In New York, they call it their Malno witnesses. So you have all these people, you have like 5 people, all these multiple people who've come in, these models and all these people, all attractive women. The jury's going to look at that and go look at Harvey Weinstein and say, look at this guy, look at them. They all have similar stories. This is a pattern. This is a man who is
look at his wife.
Look at his ex-wife. The Me Too movement. This is what Harvey Weinstein has done. And so when you put all this together, the state is steamrolling this case, rightly or wrongly. I'm just saying, from their perspective, they have a judge who has given them ruling after ruling after ruling to create this trial within the trial and allowing them to go forward. And ultimately, this is the DA here in New York, his future depends on this case.
What does his wife have to do with this,
the state
Rachel?
has put this forward and is hammering this home.
Well, if you're talking about these models and why would they ever be with him unless he forced them, or unless you look at his ex-wife. I want everyone to go and Google her. Okay, she's gorgeous.
She's attracted to him because he's a wonderful producer. There's an attractiveness about someone who's successful, isn't there?
Absolutely. And so again, the lines get blurred. I use Melania Trump as an example. I mean, people couple up with people or spend time with people behind closed doors for reasons other than romance sometimes.
So what's the point is that these accusers could have been attracted to him and it could have been consensual?
It could have been consensual well, and the state has to prove this beyond a reasonable doubt. So that's my problem, is that they may be steamrolling his character, but I don't think that they're actually getting to whether there's proof beyond a reasonable doubt as to these sexual assaults. They're diluting the playing field by bringing up these women who are saying that he answered the door in a robe and they cried and all the, I think that those kind of things really dilute the seriousness of what a sexual assault as a crime is. But I do think, is he guilty of being a bad dude? Would the jury find that? Sure. But that's not what they're being asked to decide.
Right.
Right.
What they're doing here is putting all these people on, and then ultimately the sheer number of this is going to lead to a conviction. And then on appeal, they're going to say it's harmless error, that all these things, came out, and that the witnesses
You think this is going to be a
themselves were
conviction
believable,
here?
and that I think the way that it's been set up so far, with all these witnesses and allowing all these witnesses, look, if I were the judge, I would not have allowed these witnesses to go in. What I'm saying is that they have put all these witnesses and layer upon layer upon layer, and basically steamrolling Harvey Weinstein. We having these conversations, everybody's been asking me about this, and I've been saying that, the way that it's set up right now, it's going to be unlikely for him to survive this, and then he's going to be put in prison for a long time, and by the time this case comes on appeal, he'll probably die in prison.
All right, last word, Rachel. Do you think that he is actually going down for this, or do you think that the defense is winning this case and he's going to walk out of that New York courtroom and then go to LA?
I think that the defense is winning the case, and if they pick the jury correctly, that he'll be walking out with his walker.
Okay. All right. Thank you both. We'll continue this discussion for the next few days, maybe weeks, as this case rolls on.